Yay! Hi friends, we're just getting started because of technical stuff.
Take a moment to find yourself. Take a moment to ask yourself, this is how you go down. But it's not good, it's not good, it's not good, it's not good, it's not. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I got nothing with you. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And it was just about. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. We can watch them go by.
Welcome. I'm so glad to see you all here. Let's take a deep breath together.
Yes.
Now, let's make a Kirk face. Duck lips, everyone. Oh no! Oh no! Did we lose again? Oh no! We were having tech issues earlier. Julia, you're doing amazing. How's it going? Hey, Julia. Love you, Julia. There we go. Yeah, you good? Yep. Great. Thank you. Amazing. So, duck face, duck lips. It's very DVD, right? Is that right what it was, right? Maybe give your low chuckle. And turn and say hello to the people next to you, who also love Kirk Wilson.
Right.
Kirk's amazing net of people and communities. Many are represented here. Thank you all for being here. Yeah. I wanted to read an Andrea Gibson poem, if anybody is familiar. Kirk really was excited about Andrea and her poetry, or their poetry in the last couple of years. They also were fighting cancer. So I wanted to speak this into the space as we start. Every time I ever said I want to die, I meant I am willing to do anything to live. Even leave this world forever. Even build a new home atop a nebula. Stick a straw into a buried lake on Mars. Get tipsy on anti-gravity and invent new constellations walking lines between undiscovered stars. When God pulls me over and asks, "Can you touch your nose?" I could say, "What nose?" I'd be bodiless, a shadow in reverse, a patch of light made out of the darkness I escaped. The psychology manuals say no one really wants to die. They want relief. They believe they will never find it in this world. That belief could be right or wrong. One would have to stay to find out, friend. If you stay, at least we will be together. And I have an extra straw that could show you where the lakes on this planet are buried. How you do not need light years to reach them. The dark years work too. Sometimes better. Sometimes grief is the fastest route to the truth. In addition to the straw, I also have a slingshot that fires rock bottoms directly at the sun until change spills from its golden pockets. That's how I got my hands on this summer afternoon. We can do anything with it. Sunbathe or scream or forgive ourselves everything. Most especially the thread we could not convince to close our wounds, if your wounds are still open. Trust they are doors to an answer and walk through. What if we don't have to be healed to be whole? There are holes in every inch of the fabric that makes me who I am. But pull the string on my back and I'll say I love you and mean it whenever you want. Come flood my home with your eyes. I read that people scream when they are in pain because screaming actually lessens the pain. Anyone who asks you to hold your tongue is asking you to hold the heaviest thing in the galaxy. Forget them, and remember you can tell me anything about how hard it is to stop flirting with your expiration day. I understand being wooed by the finish line of sadness. Infinity still sends me nudes every day. I won't deny she looks amazing. But I'm taken. My hand now promised to writing every day of my story, except for its end. Friend, you are who taught me that a difficult life is not less worth living than a gentle one. Joy is just easier to carry than sorrow. And you could lift a city from how long you've spent holding what's been nearly impossible to hold. This world needs those who know how to do that, those who can find a tunnel with no light at the end of it and hold it up like a telescope to show that the darkness contains many truths that could bring the light to its knees. Grief astronomer, adjust the lens. Look close. Tell us what you see. Welcome to Outside In Theater. My name is Jessica Hanna. I'm the producing artistic director here. And many of you know me probably from the bootleg days, where I got to work with the amazing Kirk Wilson, my theater fairy. We tried to evoke thank you to the whole team of people who made the day happen. We're going to have some speakers, we're going to have some videos, we're going to have some songs, and we're going to celebrate Kirk today in an amazing life. Woo! Yeah. Woo! Would you like to come join?
Sure.
Flip the towel, please.
Well, I didn't deserve Kirk Wilson. But I got Kirk Wilson. And as a friend, as a colleague, as a presence, and it wasn't just in projects that we did together. It was in his ability to tell me, and I guess everyone he knew, how special they were, what he thought of them. And it wasn't flattery. He had a considered judgment. And it was really fun to hear him deliver those other judgments. Very satisfying. So, my experience with him was as an actor, director, a set designer. No. He brought to theater, people, we all say we love the theater. But are we lovers when we work in the theater? Do we touch theater as lovers? And this was Kirk's touch. So gentle, so intuitive. I wish I had sex with him. And, no, seriously. And so, really, what I want to do right now is sing a song he sang in a show we did together. And I think I've contexted it enough. Okay. Old loves, old lovers, always new to me. Old lovers, old loves, what was can never be. Names forgotten, faces changed, all the old places rearranged. Old loves, old lovers, always new to me. Old loves, old lovers, old love is strong. Old lovers, old loves, never wrong. Happy endings, there were some. Regrets, not one. Old loves, old lovers, old love is strong.
Hi, I'm Howie. That's Tawny in the green dress. She asked that I speak for both of us. My brother Bradley likes to recount and retell his favorite moment of his life that involved Kirk, which is that seemingly alone on stage, lit beautifully, fairly late into the night at our wedding. So this is the transition, the first bootleg event, right?
Yep.
And the evidence room had been hidden behind plastic so that all that we could see was bootleg. And Kirk, but at the time Bradley, was like, this guy, amazing, Kirk, danced and did this. And glitter fell. And it fell all over. I'm sure that some of that glitter, maybe just one piece, is still in these shoes I'm wearing today, which I had worn on that night. Because when I think of what Kirk gave us and chose to spend time doing when I know him, know him, is the act of transformation. Transforming whatever into something more fabulous. And so I would call Kirk anytime I needed something to be more fabulous. And almost all the time he said yes, and if not, he would give me the number of someone else who could help me make something more fabulous, which is an incredible gift. I'm pretty sure that we got to know each other on the strip. It must have been. Tawny and I would always come and bartend, and he would always be there, you would always be there, and you, plural, probably would always be there as well. And so when it came time for Tawny and I to throw the biggest party of our lives thus far, of course Kirk had to be there to make it more fabulous. Through 2 cancellations of venues, then into the bootleg, then into transforming a work in progress space under construction into something gorgeous. And he gave so much of himself in everything he did, but including that of course Tawny and I realized immediately later that night, we have to fly Kirk in on our honeymoon. And we did. Not for all of it, but for some of it. And we were in the mountains in Colorado, and Kirk wanted so badly to see the transformation from late autumn into winter. It hadn't snowed yet, but he showed up, all of the leaves on the aspen trees fell, and it did snow. Kirk gave of himself in ways that made me not understand things that Kirk had done before, because perhaps they weren't as important as whatever Kirk was working on at the moment. And Kirk saw this in other people and brought that out in us, in me. I would not know these 3 as well if Kirk didn't say, Howie and Tawny, you need to help produce this show. Not something we thought we were the best to do, but soon I realized that Kirk was right. There's no one else that can clean and then make a bloody penis every week. To food grade standards. But it was not until, I think, the last few years that I have matured more, that I was able to realize the exemplar that Kirk actually was for me, and perhaps was for you. Kirk, for me, showed me how to be a man in this world without toxic machismo. And I'm grateful for that. And Kirk showed me how to let go of my ego enough so that I can support my community by making them look and be and seem incredibly fabulous. And I thank him for that. Of course, or maybe not of course, let's say it, none of this would have been the same without you. Because he would not be able to give of himself without the support that you offered him. And so we thank you for that. In the faith tradition that I was born into, there's a prayer that we say called the Mourner's Kaddish. And we don't say it for ourselves. And we don't say it to God necessarily, but it's something that we say on behalf of the people that we love who are dead, because they cannot say it. So let's all pray together. So I love the idea of this, and I love to put it into action. So for us now, it is up to us to make things more fabulous. Because Kirk is here with us as we make them more fabulous together. And it is up to us to lessen our egos just enough to be able to support our communities and make other people more fabulous, usually in service of transforming society, right? Through our art. So I invite you to transform yourselves. And I invite you to transform our communities, and therefore we transform society.
Thank you, Helen. We put out the call for anyone who wanted to send stuff in to have bread in space. This is from Justin Elizabeth Sayre. It is not lost on me that sometimes what we do becomes who we are, that our purposes on this planet become so much a part of our identity that we begin to resemble them. Maybe that's why I chose the name Sayre for myself. I tell people it was F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife's maiden name, which it is, but there's been a deeper meaning all along, that even at the time when I chose it, I don't know that I could fully articulate. I would become a sayer in all ways, speaking into the world what I knew, what I needed, what I bore witness to, and what I needed to change. I see this same phenomenon in so many people around me, and I saw this so evidently in Kirk. Kirk was a light, a beacon, an illuminator, a spark, a flash. And now, in one final burst, Kirk has become the light. All around us, showing us the way, and leaving us just as quickly as it came. I met Kirk years ago through Earl Dax, and it was catty, dishy, faggy love at first sight. I came west with my show, The Meeting, for the first time, meeting Jessica Hanna at the Bootleg, and sleeping on Kirk's beautiful and newly reupholstered neon gray couch. Only Kirk could have something so sensible, chic, and sensational. From that first moment, Kirk became instantly available, excited to collaborate, help, create, and play with me on all manner of projects, from the personal to the theatrical. I had never met someone so willingly and wonderfully game. An approach to any and all came with his specific kind of wild joy. Silly and serious, catty and kind, filled with wisdom and wonder, Kirk was light, and that light was brighter and bolder than any I had really ever known. For this reason and so many others, he wanted Kirk around, wanted to have his light, illuminating us, showing not just the lit, but drawing attention to its absence in the dark, holding us all up to be seen at our best, and knowing when to black out at the end. There, I may for the first time disagree with him. I wish there was more of his light. I wish there was more time to bask in all of that wild joy, and more so, I wish there was more time to tell him just what he and all of his light meant to myself and so many more of us who felt its warmth, knew its glow, and were shown the way to better parts of ourselves through it. It is a light dimmed too quickly for my liking. But I think now that that's the funny thing about light. It's not gone. It's never destroyed. It just keeps moving. Here for a moment, then onward and out to the next. ever chasing new place and new faces to illuminate. I feel lucky to have been lit by Kirk. And in my own brief time on this plane, I hope to do my part, my saying, with that same wild joy and illuminating practice that Kirk always lit everyone around him. And when I need to remember it, when I need to remember the light that was Kirk, I will simply turn on a light, any light, knowing that he remains part of that. All around us, not gone, never destroyed, just moving with us, around us, through us, and on to the next. I hope we meet again in the light, Kirk. And thank you for showing your glow with all of us for as long as you did. I will miss many things about Kirk, but I will always miss the light.
So try that video. Let's see if this works.
Hi, everyone. I love you. I miss you. I'm in Portland, and this is for Kirk. I'm going to read this. Kirk and I first collaborated in 2001 when he performed in a series of song and dances Bart DiLorenzo asked me to make for a show called The Imperialist at the Club Comicon with the Evidence Room. I made interstitial song and dances. And I'm not sure how I became familiar enough with Kirk to ask him to join the other performers, but in rehearsal, I very quickly learned that Kirk was a star. There really is no other creature like him. A lot of the other people in the dances were very dance friendly and adept, and Kirk didn't feel that he was, and he just didn't need to be, and that was great because he was electrifying as a solo singer, and a fierce, indomitable clown that kept me and everyone else guessing. A highlight was his solo with the default punk persona in a manic but otherwise sort of musical theater song. You're that funny little artist fellow, always funny and askew. He was snarling the contempt that some have for highly quirky artists like Kirk and a lot of us. The other indelible moment in this particular show was his appearance as a sort of a stoic, deadpan 1960s down and out middle-aged man with a hat and sort of disheveled coat, reminded me so much of my gruff grandfather. Kirk matter-of-factly dragged a big sack onto the stage and helped the late, great, not young, incredible actress Pamela Gordon to crawl out of a sack in her fringy hoochie mama dress. And it was just sort of a very interesting, lousy, sublime sort of moment that was underplayed by both of them in a really beautiful way. Not long after that show, in 2003, Kirk played a supervillain in a 99-cent show that we all did, and called King Krusty. And Steve, Kirk's partner, made a go-kart for him with the entrance in, and Kirk played that TV absolute hilt. His job was to steal the golden boy, this beautiful singing voice, and in order to win some war with the Frenchies. All right, so way over the top in the absolute best way. Another highlight from our collaborations was his role as stage manager Florence in Orange Star Dinner Show.
Hi y'all, I'm Florence. I'll deal with you later. All right now, I want you to turn off your cellular phones and pagers. Take off your cowboy hats if you're wearing one. And here's the drill. When you hear the dinner bell, I want you to pull your arms and legs up around you because you're liable to get clobbered if you don't. The performers are feeling mighty rowdy tonight. Now, are you ready to get this dinner show on the road?
Florence's persnickety walk and deep disdain for 13-year-old wannabe little Corky.
Get the hook back!
At one point, with Corky, his mid-song as Don Quixote.
This is my quest! No matter how long you fight for the right, without question or
So funny. Then, a sloppy micro-budget video version of Orange Star, because I love the show and the cast so much. I expanded Kirk's role to being in charge of the tech booth, where Flo and her assistant, played by a very cute and talented actor, Brian Sutherland, got hot and heavy during the course of Orange Star. The pathos was amazing. I have to say, it was what I've written here is, I'm not sure Kirk liked me. I don't think he liked me very much. But I do know that he loved the challenges that I offered him. He turned into an excited child whenever we were doing something that he had to figure out or that he was proud of. And as a sometimes, often manic jack of many trades, he was in a state of excitement quite often. As late as 2013, when designer Kirk cobbled together an ambitious, practical lamp lighting design with a bunch of extension cords and foot pedals and whatever else, making the production of Miss Julian at the incomparable Moore York Gallery look so incredible. Kirk kept bringing excessive generosity and magic to the shows that we all made together. Our body of work between 2001 and 2013 would not have been as special without his passionate and inspired involvement. Kirk was an amazing being and a free artist. And I really think he's special, so special. So rest in peace.
here. Would you like to step up? Oh, yes.
My name is Sneha Gupta, and I have the honor and privilege of being Kirk's sponsor. Steve, my condolences to you and to Kirk's family. Jessica, thank you so much for everything that you've done today. Thank you to the bootleg crew and to Roger and to everybody who I've heard so much about and experienced over the years as part of Kirk's life. All of your stories are now part of my story, and my life is so much better because of it. Kirk was the best of us. He had a life worth living, and he shared it with everybody. And he leaves behind so many people with so many memories. Tonight's a full moon, so Kirk lit that up today.
Yeah, exactly.
And born into Hindu spirituality, I learned the importance of the convergence of nature and faith. And so I can't help feel grateful to know that we've gathered here today for Kirk. And that when I see a full moon, when we see a full moon, from now on, we can think that Kirk has lit it up for us. Kirk was an artist of the first order. Everything he did carried with it a sense of beauty. Every question he asked had a second meaning. And every human that he touched was left changed forever. He was an actor, a designer, a writer. He lit the stage for some of the most meaningful theater performances and traveled the world for his talent. I would have never picked Kirk as a friend, but I didn't have that choice. He chose me. And he took me on a ride of wonder, inviting me to a melange of the strangest performances I could never imagine. We spoke for hours about the most meaningful topics with everything laid bare that our silly little lives could muster. And at the end of each interaction, I thank God for putting Kirk in my life. I was his sponsor, and when he asked me to be his sponsor, he said, all my other sponsors have either relapsed or killed themselves. First sponsee too, so this was like first for me. What am I getting into? And I got more than I could have imagined. He brought out the best in me, the best version of me, the best part of humanity. And I've said this many times, because it's true. Kirk saved my life. He kept me grounded in the truth that we're all workers amongst workers, children of God, with the simple goal of just doing the next right thing. Kirk went on to sponsor many people. His thirst to help others started with his work helping the homeless and those with AIDS in the 1980s. He went back to school to study nursing when he was about 60 years old, only to rediscover his talent for and love for writing. He received a degree with honors on the dean's list, and he represented his college on their veterans committee. He was in the Navy in the 1970s. So writing's his talent, not mine, so I'm struggling to put into too many words the man who meant so much to me. And so I'll leave it to his words instead. Too nice to stay inside, time for a field trip. Someplace north or south, doesn't matter much. Thanks for the funny memes and the funnier deep dive into human nature. A friend of ours, Scott, couldn't be here today, so he sent Miles in his stead.
Yeah, unfortunately, Scott has COVID. So he wasn't able to make home. There was no ledge there.
Sorry.
Anyways, This is on Scott's behalf. I'm Miles. And Kirk was Scott's sponsor. Actually, they started working together in 2008. So here we go. Okay, words for Kirk on the day of his memorial. Kirk, I love you. And as you can see, many others do too. Many of you are lucky enough to have known Kirk for many years. I got to know him over the last several. Before I met Kirk, my life had become unmanageable. I was sick and desperate. I met a few people who seemed to be in a similar situation, but found a solution. Kirk being one of them. We became fast friends. Kirk had found peace and serenity after a life filled with, at times, trouble. The specific details of our lives differed for the most part, but the troubled mind was the same. Kirk found a way to ease his troubled mind and showed me a way to do the same. Certainly through his words, but more importantly and impactfully, his actions. The way he lived his life. The way he was able to get out of his own thinking, especially when it was not thinking correctly. This connection was something greater than himself. Coltrane called it a love supreme. Some have other names, and some don't have a name at all. But that's not really the point here. What's important to me is that Kirk was a friend when I needed one, and that without him, I might not be alive today. I might not be married today. I might not have the relationship I have with my children, my family, my friends, and even some of the people who used to be my enemies. In short, I'm a better human being for having known Kirk, and I'm in a room full of people who I'm confident are better for having known Kirk too. If only for seeing his example, what greater gift is there to leave behind? I can hear Kirk chiming in, somewhat comically, that a little money also helps. But we need each other more than we need each other's money. To leave behind a group of folks who are better for having known you, so that maybe they can do the same when it's all said and done. Kirk, I love you, I miss you, and not a day goes by without me making that gratitude list. Today you'll be the first thing on it, and you've been on it since we met. Thank you.
Yeah, rather than.
If I were a Quaker, I would make a sound out of silence. I would make this peace out of violence. LA is on fire. It's burning on two sides. The inside out, the outside in. And it's Father's Day. And we're in New Haven, and I'm wondering, well, what's so new about New Haven? Down in Charleston, South Carolina, the blood of 9 black Charlestonians is running into that ocean that delivered them. And I'm in the dressing room because we got a show to do. We came all the way from LA to do this thing about the king. No, not MLK. Rodney King. And this thing that happened south of where we was has got me messed up. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to the mic. And I'm sitting in the dressing room in front of the mirror. And I cannot see myself. All I can see is my brother putting his right hand on my right shoulder and saying, "It's gonna be all right. We're gonna make it. We came all the way from LA. And we're in the Anne Frank Museum, and Kirk has got Nina Simone on his headphone, Amster, Mississippi, goddamn. We're taking the Rodney King tour. And he's got it all set up. It's a man sitting in a chair, right, Kirk? And there's a table there, right, Kirk? And there's nothing else, right, Kirk? There is only silence. We have erased the violence. Do you have the American flag, Kirk? You got it in that Frida Kahlo bag? Oh, we never left home without it, baby! You got it hanging, right? At different angles, right? Cause you a vet, right? And you never let that flag touch the ground, right? You rolling up in the truck with the bric-a-brac. Transfiguration, grammar school, schoolyard, where we had plotted a not too dark comedy called Inside the Creole Mafia. And you're setting it up. You got the lights, you got the props, you got the fine-tooth comb hanging. It all came out of your imagination. No, you're not from Louisiana, you're from Indiana. But you're not going back to Indiana with the Jackson 5, are you? Oh no. You're gonna stay right here. Right here. Forever. And ever. And ever. And when we went to Florida, I understood it all, Because there was your mom on opening night, and she was rocking a full-length white fur coat.
Yes. Yes.
And I said, yeah. That's the key. That's the key to your heart. I remember that day. Felipe, we French dipping. And the first time I met you, Kirk, man, it wasn't about you, it was about this cat right here. Because we was trying to save his life. And we did it. We did it. And then we're gonna do it some more. 'Cause there ain't nothing to do but live. Live. Wake up and live. Even if you're gonna self-deport to San Miguel. What the hell? Let's all hold hands. Reach out and touch. Come on, y'all. Somebody's hand. Tanya and I went to see Diana Ross. Just so amazing. You're making it better right now. Making it better.
Improvise as well as Roger, so. My friendship with Kirk was unexpected and far too brief. It was kind of like a shockwave to my heart. I met him in 2013 at LAX, and we were on our way to the public theater, I think, for Rodney King, probably, I would imagine, something like that. And I had a toddler in my arms, or a toddler at my knees, and an infant in my arms. And I was rushed and stressed, and maybe not that happy about being there. And we arrived at the gate, and Kirk was already there waiting, and our 2-year-old said, "I need you!" Something like that, because there are 3 of them now, and I can't remember everything he said, but it was something to that effect, "I need you." And Kirk noticed right away. And he said, he's going through something. And what might have been just an overactive toddler to one person was a whole person with real and valid emotions to Kirk. And he was interested. And I think that's what I love so much about him. He was interested. And that was my first and most lasting impression of him. He saw people, he saw potential and beauty in the people and the things around him. And he was in the business of illuminating all of us. And at that time we traveled a lot together. And I was always so relieved when Kirk was going to be there. Because he made me feel comfortable in uncomfortable places and with uncomfortable people. And there were plenty of them. And he would travel with scarves in his suitcase and other accoutrements because he wanted to make things like our hotel rooms. He would throw scarves on the lampshades, and he would just make anything, any space feel better and, more Kirk. And he was always bringing beauty, but there wasn't an ounce of bullshit attached to it. And that was maybe the best part. We would read each other's essays, and it felt good to be heard and read in a way that only I think Kirk could do. And I was able to work with him one time, and Jessica and Amy, and it was a quick run at Bootleg, and he was so inspired and so enthusiastic in what we could make happen in that time, and he really did see everyone. He quite literally lit me and the rest of us up, and I'm really grateful for that tiny bit of time. And when people leave us, they leave us lessons and stories, and in a world that feels broken and that insists that we need to be liked and followed and loved in these very superficial ways. In his own brilliance, Kirk took the time to see others, and in really meaningful, beautiful ways. And I think it shows, and this is a testament that he could do that while we're all here today. He loved his people, and he loved them hard. So thanks for lighting us up, Kirk.
Yeah, beautiful. Ruby Foss-Farley, who's been playing
I've known Kirk my whole life. I was a theater kid, and some of my very, very earliest memories are of being at the Bootleg, and I don't remember specific things, but I remember little things. I remember Kirk going like this. And I was very lucky to be surrounded by such wonderful, unique people. And I was never afraid to be myself. I was never afraid to be weird. And getting to watch Kirk create anything was mind-boggling, and I feel very, very blessed that I got to grow with that and with the idea that you can do and you can make anything, and you can use as much glitter as you want. And I think watching him and my mom create something for LA Iworks, we created this giant piece of artwork out of Barbies and spray paint and gemstones and anything that a 5-year-old child would want. And when I think of those times in my life, that's when I think of when I felt the most at home and at peace. So I just wanted to sing a song that that reflects how I feel about that a little bit.
be the crazy gypsy in my soul. It always comes as a surprise when I feel my withered roots begin to grow. Well, I never had a place that I could call my very own. That's alright, my love, 'cause you're my home. When you touch my weary head and you tell me everything will be alright, you say, use my body for your bed, and my love will keep you warm throughout the night. Well, I never hate a stranger, and I'll never be alone. Wherever we're together, that's my home. Home can be Pennsylvania Turnpike, Indiana's early morning dew, high up in the hills of California. Home is just another word for you. Well, I never had a place that I could call my very own. That's alright, my love, 'cause you're my home. And if I travel all my life and I never get to stop and settle down, long as I have you by my side, oh, there's a roof above and good walls all around. You're my castle, you're my cabin, and my instant pleasure dome. I need you in my house, 'cause you're my home. You're my home, 'cause you're my home. You're my home. I'd like to call up Tad.
When I came in earlier, I realized every single person that I know in this room is because of Kirk. Absolutely. So I met Kirk in August of 1992. I did Richard Rosenthal's DVD experience weekend, and he and Kate were the assistants in that workshop, and not long after that I ended up doing that as well. And he asked me if I wanted to ride with him to San Diego, because Rachel was going to be doing a performance of Final Name Future Facts, one of her solos, and I'd never seen her perform live yet, and I said, of course. So he drove, and of course I didn't have a car yet. And that trip was, I'll never forget it. He told me so many amazing parts of his life. He told me about being in the Navy and delivering babies. He told me about the time he was on Liberty in Chicago, and he woke up in the morning tied to a tree in the park and didn't know anything that had happened the night before. But I think more importantly, he told me about the time that he went to see Grace Jones and how he had swapped souls with her during the show, and she had swapped souls with him, and they were the same person. And I was like, yeah, that's you. And we saw the show, and it was amazing for me. I'd never seen her perform live, and the whole way back, all we did was talk about the lights and the sound and her energy, her vibe, the connection to the earth. And months later, I became her assistant, and Kirk was the manager of the studio. And it's my first real job in LA that I cared about. And it was only made more precious by my luxury of being able to work with him. On nights when we had workshop, there were always the nights where, so Rachel always had a gaggle of dogs around her, and she lived on South Robertson, and she would take the dogs out to, cross the alley to go to the corner. So at the end of a day, when we were prepping for our workshop, and Kirk wanted to get stoned, he would say, "To the corner!" And I knew what that meant. It was not long after that, he just came out of nowhere and gave me my moniker, which was Myrna's Katrina Woman. It's great to meet you. That's my second name. And I also realized, I forgot about this on the trip to San Diego, that I realized we both had the same first name, but neither one of us went by our first name, Thomas. So many fun synchronicities. I could tell stories for hours, but I'm not going to. I just want to say that after I started working there, not long after that, we started working on Zone. It was the first big show I worked on with Rachel, and Kirk was such a queen, and I thought, wow, he's playing Rasputin? He is playing this dark, menacing guy, and I didn't quite get it at first, because the way I knew him was he was the opposite of that in my world. And then we got on stage, and I saw his work. And I saw a side of him I didn't know existed. His feet were on the ground. He drew that energy up from the earth into him and just became this powerhouse. And I always looked up to him after that. He was my first friend in LA. Anyway, so I've been going back to Tennessee a lot to help take care of my mom, and there are a lot of birds there. And I was asking her, I said, "Mom, there's so many cardinals here. I don't remember seeing them when I was growing up." And she said, "Oh, well, they're not usually here. They're usually more Midwestern, but you know what that means when you see them, right?" And I said, "No." And she said, "That means you're getting a message from the other side." And not long after that, I heard this song, and I knew it. I had to sing that for Kirk. I saw a sign or an omen on the branches in the morning. It was right after I lost a friend without warning. Words unsaid, scarlet red, cardinal, are you bringing me a message from the other side? Cardinal, are you telling took a walk in the city to clear my head for a moment. Turned my collar to the wind on the street. It was blowing, and there he was above my head. Cardinal, are you bringing me a message from the other side? Cardinal, are you telling me I'm on somebody's mind? Don't leave me behind. Are you just watching and waiting for spring? Or do you have some kind of magic to bring? Are you just watching and waiting for spring? Or do you have some kind of magic to bring? Are you just watching and waiting for spring? Or do you have some kind of magic? Cardinal, are you bringing me a message from the other side? Cardinal, are you telling me I'm on somebody's mind? Cardinal, are you bringing me a message from the other side? Cardinal, are you telling me I'm on somebody's mind? Are you bringing me a message from the other side? Are you just watching and waiting? Do you have some kind of magic?
Little creation moment while we do a couple of, we'll say a few more things while Anne is creating. In the spirit of her.
I was smaller when I made it.
This piece of fabric I've had around for almost 2 decades. It was at the bootleg. I think Kirk and I have stapled this and roped this and worn this. I don't know how many times. So I thought it would be, thank you for that song. It was great. But I'm gonna just wrap you in it.
Oh.
The fun thing about my relationship with Steve and Kirk is the genius of Steve being down at the bootleg and hearing that machine go and you making leather works. And you are a brilliant designer. I mean, more brilliant than Kirk and I would always say. We are the hacks to your genius.
Yes.
And the two of you are what God's made of. And so I was blessed to have you both. And you know, the cool thing about free art and free love and wrapping yourself is you got to be a performer and you got to be a magician, creator at the same time. Those are rare gems in your life. And both of us were roped into Ken shows, both, taping everybody and throwing ourselves out there at the same time. But the one thing about having yes friends is that we have lost a yes friend, and now you must search another yes friend. Because when Kirk and I got together, we just would just casually just really talk. Really, we just got intimate with each other, and there was no rules. There was only laughter and yes. Oh yeah, we have a lot of fabric. We're gonna do all of this, and it was yes. and we get to know each other in the moment of the present tense. And he taught me a lot about being with other people and demanding this sense of humor about being in the present tense. It doesn't have to be anything. And so I just talk, and I've gotten to know a lot of people in the room doing just this, starting to talk about personal things while you are just wrapping someone in beauty and in love, in your love, in the silent conversation of being present. And that's what I wanted to share with you. I will miss my best friend. I don't know where we're going, but we're gonna go all the way with this piece of fabric while Jessica shares. I mean, keep transforming, but guide me as we go together.
We love fabric.
Oh, yeah.
And this one is, I don't think it's ever been washed, so it's perfect. In this theater, this is probably 20 years of magic in it.
While this is happening, hold on a second. So I'd love to play, Jordan Pimer shared a audio clip with me when we put out the word. So this is Kirk singing his solo from AIDS the Musical, written here by Wendell. Totally.
Mama, I need a gun for my birthday. Mama, I'm sure a gun would blow this tension away. This world is filled with sorrow and pain. I find it harder each day to maintain. I'm sure a gun could help me regain the strength I need to help to stay sane. Mama, I need a gun for my birthday. Mama, I'm sure a gun could blow this tension away. You say I'm not responsible now, and that you simply cannot see how. I'll pick the folks who have to scream, ow, when I shoot them with my gunpowder. Mama, I need a gun for my birthday. Mama, Mama, Mama.
All right, now you're stuck in it for the rest of the
Right,
That's
exactly. Now
fine.
you're stuck. Beautiful. The seats picture, we'll save that for a second. A couple more things. Have the words from Brandon Baruch, a fellow lighting designer. I'm having a hard time finding the right words. Anyway, Kirk was obviously a huge presence in my formative years, but in ways I'm finding difficult to quantify and articulate, because I never learned how to make art the way he did. I don't think anyone could. He wasn't so much a teacher or even a muse. It was like he was a frequency that vibrated through me and rearranged my internal art organs in ways I'll never understand. I miss him. Thanks, Brandon. Heather, would you like to read?
Yes.
Got a letter from Machine Dazzle, who was the costumer on Taylor Mack's 24-Hour Decade show and popular music. And Machine, this is Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather. For Kirk. I first met Kirk in early March 2018 in Los Angeles on tour with Taylor Mack with our 24-decade History of Popular Music show. Kirk was assigned to be one of my assistants preparing, repairing, and creating new costumes for the show that had already toured to several cities. Kirk was distinguished from any other assistant I've ever had in that he was tall, handsome, stylish, gay man, nearly 2 decades older than me. My usual assistant would be a young 20-something girl fresh out of college or still in hands-on experience to fill their resume. I was immediately comfortable in his presence with his large eyes, seemingly all-seeing and all-knowing. We spent many hours together, hot glue gun plugged in, needles and thread, gaff tape, and endless other crafting supplies, keeping us busy during the load-in and tech rehearsal period at the Ace Theater. I was grateful for his eagerness and willingness to help. He offered solutions to the task at hand. We got to know each other over coffee and smoothies. We would listen to music, and Kirk was never shy to share stories about anything. He brightened up the room. One evening, we went to an Italian restaurant with my 2 other assistants, Emma and Marisol, to Buca di Beppo, an Italian restaurant I'd never been to. I recall how Kirk was able to put everyone at ease with his confidence, elegance, and gentle disposition. He carried the conversation all evening, and I admired him. 24-decade History of Popular Music was a 24-hour show that was divided into 4 6-hour shows for the Ace Theater. Each decade of the show was an hour in length. Each decade used popular music at the time to focus on a different group of people that were fostering community as a result of that community being torn apart. In other words, people coming together for the sake of survival. The final segment of this 4-part opus happened on March 24th. It featured the quintessential decade in this regard, 1986 to 1996 songs popular during the height of the AIDS crisis. The hour opened with Joy Division's Love Will Tear Us Apart, followed by my symbolic Death leaving the stage not to return for the remainder of the show. I was the costume designer, and I was on stage every hour in some capacity as a performer up until that point as my own character. After I left the stage, I retreated up to the workspace Kirk and I shared. It was upstairs in the back of the theater and had a great vantage point. Kirk was up there transfixed by the show. Not hell or high water could rip him away from the profound experience he was having. So the songs of this decade went on. Addicted to Love by Robert Palmer, Denny by Pansy Division, Blood Makes Noise by Suzanne Vega, Precious Things by Tori Amos. But it was somewhere between Mary Margaret O'Hara's Body in Trouble and Mark Allman's There Is a Bed when I was caught off guard. I turned to notice Kirk weeping, hands on his face, blanketing gentle but audible moans of grief, eyes still glued to the stage, his ears clinging to every word, every note of music. As a performer, I don't usually get to share in the audience experience, but never have I been so moved by an audience member's reaction than I was with Kirk's in that moment. Emma moved in to comfort him, then Marisol, then myself, all with fresh tears. That hour of music ended with Patti Smith's People Have the Power. And with that, a wash of breath, hope, and shared community in that intimate space. It was Kirk's tears that glued us together. I never forgot his strength in that moment, to be vulnerable, honest, and true in front of new friends. I thank him for that. The show went on, and the next decade in the lineup, the 1996 to 2006 songs popular with the Radical Lesbian. I never saw Kirk again after the show wrapped. He eventually made it to Instagram, where we messaged every now and then, and where I would eventually learn about his state of health and unfortunate decline as the years passed. But every post was filled with hope and humor, his big, inescapable eyes clinging to life, love, and everything beautiful. Machine Dazzle.
I know Kirk
from back in the days of the Rachel Rosenthal Company, circa the 1990s. Back when the LA Times called her a force of nature and a cultural monument for the city of LA. Back when he was Rasputin and I was a little Tsarevna in his thrall, captivated by his magic, both in the play and in real life. They can say the same thing about Kirk now as they said about Rachel then. A force of nature, a monument, a beacon, a genius, utterly unforgettable. Meet him once, remember him forever. Kirk saw and created beauty everywhere, outside, all around him, all the time. But more than that, he saw the beauty on the inside of everyone and loved bringing it out. So generous was he with his gifts of glam and gorgeousness. He did that for me once. Gave me a day where I never felt more beautiful in my life. And that day remains. It was relatively early in our getting to know each other. And he told me he'd dress me up for the Halloween parade in West Hollywood. I had never been, but he assured me that it and I would be fabulous. I don't know how or what he did, but all I can tell you is he found a bunch of rags and wrapped them around my head so artfully, so skillfully, so sexily that I was transformed into the world's most seductive, intriguing, alluring, mysterious woman. He made us both believe, if just for that one night, one moment has lived forever, lasted a lifetime. Kirk could bring you to tears, move you so deeply without ever saying a word. He could also fill your heart with utter and absolute joy by just entering a room, or if you were lucky, by entering your orbit with a little sparkle, a lot of glitter, and his energy, always overflowing from his huge heart and that fabulous eye. His sheer delight, exuberance, and love for the theater captured that firefly, that spark of light within himself and within us. Shine on, Kirky. Shine on. How lucky we are to have been in your solar system. You changed my life. You inspired and will continue to inspire my work forever and ever. Although I miss you terribly, my muse and my friend, I can still feel you and I can still see you. Every time I look up at the night sky, there you are, scattered among the stars. Till we meet again, save me a place in your constellation. I love you, Kirky. Yeah.
The thing that keeps coming up, Kirk, love was an action. Truly. I keep on thinking about it. Actually, so many stories, but I wanted to say that this dress that I'm wearing. He came bounding up the steps up to that office, that office upstairs that I had. It was like one day he thrust this dress in. He said, "I found this at a yard sale, hanging on a tree. It's a Norma Kamali." I said, "I don't know who that is." He said, "It's a classic, and it's for you." So I wear this. I think those moments of action. Big note to you. So, as a call to action, as you said earlier, yeah, let's go to that slide. So, Kirk loved, as we all know, helping people. He loved being a mentor. And there are 4 folks, there's a number of people who helped make today happen. There are 4 folks who were bootleg interns. Let's see where you are. Dean, Amy, Mara, and Heather. He was so proud to work with you all. So, here at Outside In, I'm going to put together a Kirk Wilson Memorial Internship. I'm looking to raise about 7, so yes, exactly. $7,500. Here's a QR code. If you'd like to give to that, I will also put this online and stuff like that, send it out. The idea being to mentor an emerging theater creator who identifies as LGBTQ+, at any age, and give them an opportunity to be mentored here. If you are a peer of Kirk's, I will probably be calling you to be part of this project. But to carry that forward, and if you do, when you do your donation, please put Kirk Wilson and dedicate it to him, so I know that's what it's for. But yeah, I wanted to pass that forward because he's amazing. All 4 of those bootleg interns are making art, still finding ways to change the world. And I know he's super proud of it all. So. Okay, we are nearing the end here. We did want to take a moment to say, if anybody, a little open floor moment. If anybody is so moved, yes, come on up. Or if you want to stand there, you want to come down. However you'd like to do it. This is an open floor.
Come down.
Please. Please, please. Oh, careful.
Pull the place apart. Hey, I'm Ben. And I just wanted to say, as much as everyone's talked about Kirk as an individual, there's no Kirk without Steve in my heart. And Kirk and Steve kept me alive for a couple of years when no one would. And like Ruby and Vice, I grew up in the theater. My dad was a gay man and playwright and a theater director. And so I too have been blessed to have been brought up around all these incredible creative people. And so there's 3 things I want to say. One was that Kirk and Steve hired me to do, to paint houses and do stuff when I couldn't get a job. I have a degree from McGill, I couldn't get a job anywhere, And they kept me alive. And I was thinking about it this week that I think they're the best bosses that I ever had. They never pushed me, and Steve is so laid back, so easy to get along with. And we also talked a lot about crafting stuff. And Steve, I've never forgotten about talking about painting cars with a brush. And I'm still doing that, so it's a fun thing. But the 2 things I really wanted to say about Kirk was that I did a CD release. I'm not an actor, I'm a musician and a songwriter, and I did a CD release, and I don't think I even asked Kirk to do the design. He just did it. He just was there, and he just designed the set, and it was beautiful, elegant, and understated, and let us shine. And I'm still using those pictures, as those of you know me on Instagram all the time. And but the best thing, and this was the best part of. This is the thing I remember most about my relationship with Kirk. So as some of you probably know, Kirk was obsessed with the car. The Renault made the Le Car, right? These little goofy little cars. And so he already had one, but he'd found another one in Orange County. And he asked me, he said, hey, will you come and drive down with me so that you can drive the truck or whatever it was we were driving down there, back up, and I'll drive the Le Car. I said, yeah, sure. So we get in the car, and And I don't know how well we knew each other. We'd known each other for a little while at that time, but I don't know that he knew much about my background. Like, most of my family is gay and, trans and everything else. But I don't know that he knew that, and I'm a straight guy, And so we, ever the sort of, as so many have said, generous, host or whatever. We get in the car, we're gonna, drive for an hour and a half or something like that. So Kirk decides he's gonna initiate the conversation. And he started talking, he turned to me, he's like, how about that? I won't mention the person, but it was like this little starlet type that was in the theater community at that time, very sexy gal, He's like, I bet she'd be a nasty little fuck, wouldn't she? Reaching out to the straight guy, And so, I just couldn't resist. And so my response was like, I pretended to be horrified. He was like, oh, no, I didn't mean, and then I started laughing and laughing. He was like, oh, you son of a bitch, I drawn him out. And from then on, it was a lot like the drive, Tad, that you talked about, because we just talked about everything. We talked about our past. We talked about the Navy. We talked about addiction. We talked about rehab. We talked about all the things that we shared in common. But it was just such a bonding moment where I was able to poke fun at his attempt to reach out to me, and that broke all the barriers between us. And I'm also, like so many of you, so grateful to have known Kirk. And I wish I could have seen him. I reached out to him a bunch of times when he wasn't well to say I'd love to come and visit, and he wasn't up to that, which I understood, but Kirk to me will always be with us, always in our hearts, and it was just said, until we meet again. And I love you, Steve.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, please.
I got this from our friend Patty Scanlon.
Oh yeah.
Who we worked together on the strip with, and she asked if I would read it. The memory I have is meeting Kirk for the first time at the farmer's market to talk about him producing the strip and falling immediately in love with this magical can-do being. And when I showed up to the first rehearsal, I realized just how magical he was. The whole thing was like a beautiful orchestrated Fellini film. And there was Kirk in all his sartorial glory, looking like he hadn't even broken a sweat, having just pulled this wildly imaginative evidence room / bootleg extravaganza into being. Conjured, I should say. What a dream working with Kirk. He made everything seem possible and more. When we worked together on the play Death of a Salesgirl, I had to make an entrance in a crisp white blazer, and egads! Right before my entrance, he noticed a huge stain on the front. Kirk whipped something out of his back pocket, one of his magic wands, I suppose, dabbed at the stain with all his might, total concentration, and voila! Stain gone, entrance made. Kirk put his whole being into getting rid of that stain. When he was part of a team, he was part of a team. He worked his ass off for the good of the show, the event, all the artists and audience members involved, all of his soul, muscle, and fairy dust. I also loved when he started painting, and I asked him how he made some particularly beautiful marks on a painting. He said, broccoli. Or the like. Always flying outside the box to allow us all to fly inside of the box and outside the box at the same time. Yes, Kirk didn't just know how to work a set of twinkle lights. He is a twinkle light. And every single person he has touched directly and indirectly has been given the gift of that twinkle. Don't waste it. Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. Thank you, Kirk. Let's all join in a twinkle for Kirk. Twinkle hands.
Yeah, come on in.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I debated saying anything because I'm like, we all have the same stuff to say, but I feel like I want to. two memories that I'd like to share. One's a big memory is that I started Los Angeles Lady Arm Wrestlers 10 years ago.
At least more. I think it's more than that.
A long time ago, and it's a theatrical arm wrestling league for folks who identify as women or just not straight dudes, really. And I called Jess and I was like, "Can I do it at the bootleg?" And she was like, "Fuck yeah!" And we would do shows 3 times a year, and you won't know this about Kirk, but we'd show up at noon. Nothing had happened. It was like noon the day of the show. We had 150 people coming at 7 p.m. 14 wrestlers, but with their entourages, there'd be like 100 people jammed downstairs and with all that fabric Anne was talking about. And Steve would be putting the finishing touches on these. This is a trophy from LA Law, which are absolutely magical pieces of art. And Kirk would, you know him, just wildly running around, grabbing fabrics, just hurling things in a terrible mood. Jess and I would be like, she's like, don't worry. We have to do the check-in to see if we could joke with Kirk or just let him go. And then you know how it is by 7 o'clock. It's fucking magic with some fabric. And then Kirk would run up to the light booth, and he loved LA Law. And so we'd have a table in the middle of the space, and Kirk would just be up there, and I just have this crystal clear image of him madly on the spotlight. He'd just get on it and just do whatever the fuck he wanted to light the table, to light the women in the middle. And pandemic and middle life have sort of pushed me into a hole. And it's actually really inspiring to be here today with all of you remembering to get back out. The loss of bootleg was a loss for LA Law, and we moved around a bit, but I also can't imagine doing it without Kirk. It's maybe part of why we're still on hiatus, but I'm so grateful I had you, Steve. Those magical times in the basement with Steve over there at his sewing machine. I brought my Steve original Frida Kahlo backpack today. It's one of my most treasured possessions. And then I don't know what his last showy design was, but I know close to it was probably our production of Rent in 2022.
Yeah.
So I'm mostly artistic director of Courage Ensemble. And we did a production of Rent when everybody was doing Rent because she could get the rights. And I hired amazing director Rena Dutt, and she wanted to do it on a reverse round. So the audience was in the middle. And we did it at the Shakespeare Center of Los Angeles, which is a huge space. And we didn't want our Rent to be Rent. We needed it to be real. And so I just called Kirk and said, "What do you want to do? Do you want to do lights, set, costumes, all of it?" And there was a picture in the slideshow. I'm glad it got to be seen because what he created was New York of the 90s. And I'm so fucking proud of that design. Just truly, I think he was even Xeroxing music posters of his own from the 90s and plastering them on walls. But he created this incredible set of the apartment, Mimi's apartment, the meeting room where they all met, and it was just this incredible. The chicken was in the show.
Chicken leg. Yes.
So I just, like so many of you, what a deep inspiration and a way to. He truly is a muse. I don't have much more to add, except just grateful to be part of this community and that we all got to share in that deep, deep magic.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kirk.
You.
Like Ken wrote in the video, I came in at the Imperial Sister Club Comic-Con with Kirk. I met John. I made a lot of music and worked with him. things, from the evidence from time to the bootleg. Coming from the music world, I think one of the things that drew me to theater were people like Kirk. I would say that I'm not as good at being friends with people as he was. And he was always, a lot of time when I worked with him, we would just be rushing past each other backstage, doing, getting out of the way of a bunch of plastic or something. But every now and then he would just call me on my bullshit. And when I would cop to it, there was no further condemnation. I just, you're kind of bullshit here. And then it's just this grace. And he was a really gracious man to me. And I may not see him for a year or two, and then I may not talk to him for more than an hour total over the course of production, but he left an indelible mark in me. We always had more sopranos and altos than tenors and basses. And one of those, I think it was one of those shows, one of the Ken Road shows. And it was a big finale, and we needed a lot of volume on the tenor and bass parts, and I just wasn't getting it, So I taught it again, and I said, all right, so I want you guys to sing this like your life depended on it. We ran it again with everybody. There's 30 altos and sopranos and 8 tenors and basses. And it was like a Kirk solo. So I remember him fondly and grateful.
I know.
Before the bootleg, before Rachel, Kirk was an activist in ACT UP Los Angeles. And he was a member of the Radical Theories, and he was my friend. And for the last 30 years or so, I had a studio above Circus of Books with a huge piece of pink fabric with little glitter things on it, like over here. It was over one of my windows. And on the ceiling was a big piece of Chinese silk that was beautiful, both of which he gave me at fairy gatherings. When I did the workshop version of Age the Musical, we cast it out of ACT UP Los Angeles. And I wanted to play the part of Carlos on stage, but I didn't have the voice for it. I could write music, but I'm also somewhat tone deaf when it comes to singing. So Kirk got the part. We had to do a scene together where I played a very naive, cheerful AIDS buddy, a little white bread kid who's trying to cheer up a street queen named Carlos who is dying. And all Carlos wants is to get a goddamn gun to kill the president. And of course I'm not going to get him a gun to kill the president because I'm a white, red twink and I can't do that. And so he keeps trying to find a way to trick me into getting him the gun. And so at the end when I have to leave, he's really mad at me. And I'm being real cheerful. And he says, and I said, do you need anything else? He says, yeah, I just shit myself. You want to clean it up? So I have to clean him up on stage. Now, originally I wanted to rush through the scene. But Kirk said, no, we're going to show this how it really is. because he knew that I knew how to change a diaper for someone who's in bed. Florence Nightingale invented it, and we did it on stage. And he said, you're going to take your time, and you're going to do this whole thing where I sing the song. So I would roll him over on his side, undo the diaper, clean out the bottom, roll up the shit, throw it away, get out a new clean diaper, stick it under him, roll him back onto it, and do it all up. And then he would sing, Mama, I want a gun for my birthday. And he would do it real simply. I wanted a real bombastic, Mama, that kind of thing. Kirk said, no, we're going to underplay this because you just freaked the whole audience out and changed the stage. And so he sang a beautiful version of it. And when we came to take it onto stage for a 6-week run in Hollywood, the one thing I told the director was, you can get rid of the rest of the cast, but Kirk is coming with us. And he did. Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all for sharing. And also thank you just to the folks who helped plan all this and make this happen today. Tad, Carol, Dean, Amy, Heather, Mara who made our slideshow. Together. Thank you. And thank you to Julia and Dre who've been here to help out today. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah. I want to say thank you, Steve. He loved you so much. And thank you for what you two gave to each other and how you took care of him these last couple of years. I know it was a lot. I who love him, I'm thankful for you and how you took care of him. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
We got a little bit of video footage to play, and that's the end of it. If you'd like to stick around, we got lots more food out front. I also have some, if you want to come in, if you want to get a taco at the taco truck next door, you can get a coupon from me, or a ticket from me, and we'll take care of it later. So you can grab a taco at La Estrella's Tacos. They're very delicious. Grab a taco, bring it back in. Please feel free to hang out. Have more of Howie's delicious juices.
Yeah, and the fans that Tawny made.
Yes.
We all know someone who can't be here.
Yes.
Who wants to be here.
Yeah.
Bring them a fan.
Please take it. I think that's yeah. That's
Good luck with your inaugural show in September.
Hey, thank you. I think we're gonna leave Kirk up there at the booth. Oh. Thank you, Joe, for making it happen. Yeah, stick around, talk to each other. Post-its. Oh yeah, and the post-its. There are post-its out there. You can leave a note. How Kirk inspired you, to Kirk, however you'd like to put it, and put it on the wall, okay? And do some more bedazzling. Take glasses and handkerchiefs and bedazzle them, take them with you. Totally. Wear them. Sparkle, like Kirk. Yeah. Let's play that last bit and then everybody can hang out. Thank you, Julia. Yeah.
It's so big love for me. Sleepless, I don't want to kiss. You're one I'm afraid I must miss. I'm a waitress in the donut shop. I see him on his morning side. He talks to love.
Bye.
And when
If I could find this.
oh, hi.
Thanks for joining us. Bye, friends. Go out and sparkle, just like Kirky.